Do you know the wacky conspiracy theory about the South Pole? That the South Pole is some sort of a direct energy weapon, that there's like some station down there that they've pretended is just for receiving, but it's actually for transmitting. But this guy was on the Sean Ryan show.
Every single door in the facility, I had complete access to every compartment they manufactured.
What are you blowing the whistle on?
That there are technologies people can't even consider that exist on this planet. Directed energy weapon systems is something that people need to get into their vocabulary fast. The Ice Cube neutrino detector is not simply a passive listening device as presented for the science that they're claiming it to do. It also has the capacity to transmit.
And he's explaining how he went down there and he read the operating manual for this device, and this device caused the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand. And I was like, what?
There was a time where Antarctica...
Perhaps 90 million years ago, there was a lush rainforest that is now covered in miles of ice on the Antarctic continent.
A friend of ours, who will remain nameless, went there. And he said a couple interesting things. He said the mountains looked eerily pointy and four-sided. He said way more mountainous than he thought it would be. He said there is a pact with every country that has a slice of it that they will not dig or remove any minerals from Antarctica. They are clearly protecting or preserving something that may or may not be under, I believe it's 3 miles at its thickest of ice.
One of the things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820, and yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail, which again were based on much older source maps that have now been lost to us. It just shows a hole where Antarctica is, because it was an honest map. Nobody had found it by then. But if you go back to the Wolsey-Wooler world map drawn in 1530 or thereabouts, you find Antarctica is present. There's Antarctica at the tip of South America, just south of South Africa.
And what did they call it back then?
Well, they call it the Southern Land, and it's larger than it is today, but it was larger than it is today during the Ice Age. Antarctica was a much bigger... Now, what the fuck is it doing on a map drawn in the 1500s, which we know was based on older source maps when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s? To me, the obvious answer is we are dealing with the fingerprints of a lost civilization that mapped the world and that left evidence of that mapping, which ancient map makers found and used and incorporated into their maps.
Everyone knows about Epstein Island, but have you heard about Rothschild's Island?
I don't even know who that is.
The Rothschilds are like the most mainstream name when it comes to the Illuminati. Everybody knows about them. But yeah, they bought an island off the coast of Antarctica. Why would you want an island in Antarctica?
Why would anyone go to Antarctica?
I think there could be like secret tunnels they have built in under there.
Your go-to is always secret tunnels.
There's no other reason for them to have an island.
Penguins?
What was weird about Antarctica?
There's nothing there. There's no insects. There's no wildlife. The sun doesn't go down. All sorts of crazy motherfuckers pass through there, like I'm just gonna walk to the South Pole, and they'll come back in subsequent years and give talks on, where they went and how they avoided these crevasses, which I had no fear of until I went to Antarctica and got the brief. You're dead. They'll never find you again.
How deep are they?
Hundreds of feet deep.
Sometimes people just fall into them.
Oh yeah, this is a guy who fell into one skiing. This is making its rounds on the old internet.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck.
Who knows how much farther down that...
How did he get back out?
He might have self-rescued.
Self-rescued is a terrible fucking phrase. It
Yeah.
could have been done.
Oh, 100%.
Your seats, because what you're about to hear will blow your mind. Antarctica, the enigmatic continent, is at the center of a jaw-dropping theory that could redefine everything we thought we knew. Imagine this. Antarctica isn't just a vast expanse of ice, but an awe-inspiring, colossal wall of ice surrounding all continents. Yes, you heard that right. A hidden barrier holding unimaginable secrets. Think about the possibilities. What if crossing this ice wall unlocks hidden continents kept from us intentionally? A 1992 map, the Gleason map, has raised eyebrows, depicting Antarctica encircling the entire world. Remarkably, the United Nations logo bears a striking resemblance to this intriguing map. But that's not all. A daring pilot took on the challenge, defying prohibitions, and captured a gripping, albeit low-quality video claiming to have reached this mysterious ice wall. The burning question remains, is it the real deal or an elaborate hoax? Sure, scientists confirm Antarctica as a continent through satellite images, But are we merely scratching the surface? It's time to dig deeper, armed with solid evidence and serious research. Are we holding on to preconceived notions or embracing a whole new reality? Tell me your opinion on this story.
We all know that Antarctica is the most mysterious and intriguing continent that exists. Recently, something came out and could completely change our perception of this territory. According to this thing, Antarctica is not a vast expanse of ice at the bottom of the Earth, but rather a gigantic wall of ice surrounding all the continents of this world. Some even believe that if we were able to cross this ice wall, we would discover other continents that have intentionally been kept hidden from us. In 1992, a new standard world map called the Gleason map was published, depicting Antarctica encircling all our continents. A very intriguing fact is that the logo of the United Nations strongly resembles this map. A pilot took the risk of going there despite the prohibitions and released a low-quality video claiming to have reached this ice wall. But we cannot be sure if it is truly Antarctica or if it is staged. Scientists have long established that Antarctica is indeed a continent, thanks to satellite images that show its structure and expands. Therefore, it is important to rely on solid evidence and serious research to understand our world. So is this theory simply the product of the imagination of some individuals, or are all our beliefs biased?
Discovered a crater beneath the Antarctica ice crust, 482 kilometers in diameter. Holy shit.
That's like an order of magnitude bigger than
the dinosaur one, right?
Yeah, that's like a 99 point whatever % extinction event.
So it
something
just keeps happening. The Earth just, over millions and millions of years and thousands of years that humans have been around, the Earth just keeps getting whacked.
Found another advanced world just outside of Antarctica. They don't want us going there. Once you understand there's more land beyond Antarctica, what's another word for more? Extra. What's another word for land? Territory. Put that together in a word, extraterra. If somebody came from the extraterra outside of Antarctica, we might call them an extraterrestrial from the outer space.
And look, this is a view of Antarctica, right? You scroll in, and there's all this ice, right? But it's weird. It's like a grid. Like, there's clearly some things they don't want us to see, blocked off. But then, even weirder, you go over here, and it's like sand. Like, what? That looks like sand. And then you come over here. What is this? Look, there's tracks. Like, somebody was clearly, those are deliberately put there. Then you go up here, and there's one up there. And it's, look at that. Tracks, look at the tracks, and then you can't even see them anymore. Because, look, you zoom out, and it's like it was never there.
Watch this video and tell me there's surely something else stopping us going to Antarctica. The men seem cool about situation, so maybe they have came across this many times. Comment below, what could that big round shape thing?
There's something going on underneath Antarctica. Deep in the depths of Antarctica, there have been rumors floating around about a mysterious giant hole that exists as the entrance to another world. Well, you see, in the 1960s, a lone American aviator was flying solo in hopes of exploring a land beyond Antarctica when he encountered this hole. Without hesitation, he dived headfirst into the void, only to find a hidden civilization thriving beneath the planet's crust. This civilization was not only thriving, but in comparison, was advanced in more ways than one. However, when he returned to share his story, he was quickly disavowed by the FBI, and his testimony soon became a legend that slowly vanished from public perception. Even though his original journal documents in detail his trip down the hole, and you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below, many people are still asking the question:
what is happening beneath Antarctica? In 1985, a naval engineer stationed at McMurdo Station in Antarctica made a terrifying discovery. While transporting supplies and crew members to sites around Antarctica, he and his crew reported seeing circular aircraft flying above an area known as the Beardmore Glacier. However, they were never allowed to investigate further as the area was designated as an air exclusion zone. At one point, they received an emergency call to rescue an injured crew member who had gone on an expedition. The captain knew they wouldn't make it in time using conventional flight routes, so he decided to fly through the Beardmore Glacier to reach the injured individual. However, upon entering the air exclusion zone, they witnessed a giant hole the size of a football field leading beneath the ice. Eventually, they successfully rescued the injured crew member, but upon returning to McMurdo Station, they were greeted by a man in black who told them, "What you saw at the pole, you did not see. If you speak of it, you will have serious problems." Is happening beneath Antarctica theory. After the Second World War, the first contract that was signed between the Germans and the Allies was the Antarctica contract. This contract stated that a large part of Antarctica isn't allowed to visit. Some people believe that the Germans found there something strange and probably not from this world. There were also found different high-developed buildings, which are clearly not explainable. So if this theory is true, and there is really a highly advanced civilization in Antarctica, we'll probably never know.
But just stick with me. So we all know that Antarctica is like the last place on Earth, at least one of the last places that are virtually untouched by humans. There's no native population, not a single country controls it, but there are actually 16 restricted areas. Now, the reason for these restricted areas is because of the Antarctic Treaty. It was signed back in 1959 by 12 different countries. 2 of these countries were the United States and the Soviet Union. Kind of weird that the United States and the Soviet Union during the middle of Cold War said, you know what, yeah, Antarctica needs to be restricted. But if you look even deeper, you'll find out that during World War II, the German army was sending exploratory expeditions into Antarctica. I had to blur out a little logo here, but you get me. The geologists on these German expeditions claim that they found warm, fresh water and even vegetation, all in a place that's supposed to be just covered in ice. Now, obviously, there are other conspiracy theories as to actually what they were doing there, but there actually was an American response. But I'll have to go over that in part 2 because, oh boy, there's a lot more.
Pyramids were just recently found in Antarctica. Yes, you heard that right. 5 days ago, military soldiers were asked to investigate multiple pyramids in Antarctica. Of course, they were asked to keep it a top-secret mission. However, one of the soldiers leaked the jaw-dropping videos to the online world. Astonishingly, many soldiers reported that the pyramids were emitting a mysterious energy. But that's not even the craziest part. They also claimed that every year, members of the elite visit this place for a reunion. People argue that an ancient civilization constructed these pyramids in Antarctica, and these pyramids are not small. Some are 2 times the size of the pyramids in Egypt. Antarctica is the source of many theories. Many believe that this location might be an entrance to a hidden inner Earth civilization, or that it serves as a hiding spot for UFOs. But the question remains, what is the truth about this mysterious place? And why don't the elite want regular people to go there? Subscribe for part 2, now you know that.
Footage of 1946 operation. High jump. Pyramids discovered in Antarctica. Built by Egyptians or built before the flood. Was the 1949 Antarctic Treaty one of the reasons to cover up the truth?
So I was on Twitter this morning and saw this post. Go on Google Earth and try to get a measurement of Antarctica. It won't do it because it's a ring around us. So naturally, I ran straight to Google Earth. I screen recorded everything I did. I sped it up because I really wanted to capture the shape of this wall. Continent. Yeah. Now to cover all my bases, this is what I did next. could find the perimeter in the middle of the ocean, middle of Africa, and it didn't matter where I put the points. Right in the middle of the continent. Now this got me thinking, why don't we journey up to the North Pole? You know, right there in the middle. I'm like speechless. So while I was sitting here pondering all this and being speechless, I went, holy shit. No matter where you set the points, it always had these little spots, or a spot, missing. North Pole. Kind of like a little missing puzzle piece. The missing piece of the circle. Anyways, it's all a big conspiracy theory anyways.
Know that Antarctica is the most mysterious and intriguing continent in existence. Recently, an incredible theory has been spreading that could completely change our perception of Antarctica. According to this theory, Antarctica is not a vast expanse of ice at the bottom of the Earth, but rather a gigantic wall of ice that overlooks all the continents of this world. Some people claim to have climbed this wall of ice and even took video of it. What they discovered will leave you speechless. These people saw other continents that have been intentionally hidden from us. In 1992, a new standard world map was published called the Map of G, which depicts Antarctica surrounding all of our continents. A very intriguing fact is that the logo of the United Nations looks very much like this map. A pilot dared to go there despite the visions and published a low-quality video claiming to have reached this wall of ice. But we cannot be sure if it is really Antarctica or if it is the Antarctic. So is this theory simply the product of some people's imagination, or are all of our beliefs being held? Subscribe for part 2 to see the videos.
This video got 10 million views, and it shows these two guys who apparently got in a boat and sailed all the way to Antarctica to see if there's new land. And what people were freaking out about in this video was the water looks a little bit different than anything we've ever seen before. It looks kind of thick, and as if it were melted glass. And I haven't figured out a reason or a scientific reason for why this is the case. Maybe there's extra salt in it, or maybe these guys did actually come across some strange water, like no one knows why it's like this. But like, we gotta figure out who these two guys are, because the video is only 2 minutes long. Like, did they actually find anywhere, or are they just sailing around and found an iceberg or something? Like, can you guys in the comment section do some of your magic and figure out who these two guys are? One of the guys in the video was saying he was going to get his phone out and see where they are on the map. So that makes me skeptical, like, how do you have service if you're way over in Antarctica? Like, I don't think there's any 5G cell towers all the way down there.
Melting. And what they're saying is that the glaciers have like a bunch of like prehistoric animals. Like,
oh yeah.
Viruses, animals, bugs, you know, and they're all gonna be released.
Oh, I get it. So
once
when
they melt.
But you know, that'd be cool seeing like animals that we haven't discovered yet, like inside the glaciers melting.
It would be cool to see them, but what I'm scared of is like the bugs and the viruses, bro. Because just imagine all that prehistoric stuff that they had back then.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're gonna be exposed to it.
Ginormous hole in the ice just about 15 miles away from the South Pole. That is what Admiral Byrd wrote in his diary when he flew into this giant hole, and he was the first to discover it.
Was it the hole that they're blocking off on the Google Maps?
Correct.
Wow.
Yep. He was asked to go with his radio man to fly back to the South Pole, enter into the hole, and that's where they saw this verdant green valley, as well as large extinct mammals such as a woolly mammoth and other creatures that haven't walked the surface of the earth.
Still alive.
Still alive.
Artificial intelligence.
Let's all
Aldrin went to Antarctica. There's this theory out there that there is, in fact, the world's largest pyramid in Antarctica.
Wow.
Yeah, there's satellite images to where it's so equal on the 4 sides. And supposedly, that's what Buzz. Stop! Everyone, stop! I heard it. While he was there, he had a heart attack and he had to be airlifted out.
Oh.
And then this is the tweet on his way back. He said, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself."
That's legitimate?
No,
Yes.
that's AI.
That's what he tweeted, Lil.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
I love it, like the
Buzz Aldrin tweeted, "We are all in grave danger. It is evil itself."
That's so scary.
And it could, in fact, be AI because of the lack of research.
Super weird facts about Antarctica. Let's get into it. For starters, no one actually owns Antarctica. That's mainly because in December 1st of 1959, 50 different parties signed the Antarctic Treaty. In this treaty, it also prohibits the disposal of any radioactive waste or nuclear testing. Another super interesting fact is that they have a doomsday seed vault here in Antarctica that pretty much has any seed you could think of to keep a civilization alive. Throw that out there. And also there's a place in Antarctica called Rothschild. And if you've done any research on this family, you would know that they are one of the most elite and powerful families in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rothschild family had some type of secret investment in Antarctica.
What Russia just discovered in Antarctica is terrifying. Scientists have found terrifying objects under the ice of Antarctica. However, the government doesn't want you to know about those secret discoveries. The world had no idea that the least populated...
Guys, we have another one. What are these? Another unmarked facility. What's going on down there?
From the other side of the Antarctic ice wall.
All right, before we go any further, you guys already know I have to give a quick disclaimer. This video is made for entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered factual. We simply point out patterns and things that we notice. This video was made just for fun and should not be taken seriously. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and say the whole damn thing is scripted. Okay, now that we've satisfied TikTok's guidelines, let's get into it.
Small lifts of what is beyond the ice walls.
Bunger leans forward in amazement. His eyes have caught a sudden and unbelievable change in scenery. The universal white has turned to chocolate brown, dotted with blue. A cameraman goes into action. 300 square miles of land without snow. Land that might be in New Mexico or Arizona. Pictures alone will prove Bunger has discovered a warm oasis in the shadow of the pole. It is for such supreme moments as this that men brave the hardships of exploration. The astounding, undreamed-of fact is that they are over a chain of warm water lakes, whose shores, except for small patches, are free of ice and snow. Commander Bunger circles the largest lake in sight, 5 miles long. He comes in to make a landing. Water temperatures must be recorded. Samples taken. He finds the water fresh. Temperature 38 degrees Fahrenheit. On the shores are vast deposits of coal and of minerals of the utmost importance to civilization. Aside from their headline discovery, Bunger and his men have another good reason.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
The flat Earth ice wall, they call it Antarctica.
Continent at the South Pole. And it has been theorized by a number of people that Antarctica is some kind of alien base.
Rumors of extraterrestrial activity in Antarctica have circulated for years. If these accounts are true, and there is, in fact, an extraterrestrial presence in Antarctica today, could it have been there regarding Antarctica, on the condition that she not reveal his identity? Her source, a retired Navy SEAL, who she identifies as Spartan 1, provided her with details of an ancient structure he claims to have visited during his time at the South Pole.
Antarctica is not what we're being told. Antarctica is not what people thought, according to Russia. Apparently, the governments of the USA and Russia have been keeping what Antarctica really is top secret, as both countries have known what is really going on, but they have never spoken out until now. Hidden continent under ice of Antarctica? Russia recently revealed that there is another continent hidden under the ice in Antarctica, and many people think that this is where an ancient civilization that fell lies. This is what has been said to be what has attracted the interest of some of the great leaders. Now Antarctica has a ban and people are wondering why the governments chose to keep what is an important discovery top secret. Russian scientists then found hundreds of lakes underneath the ice of Antarctica, and these are not frozen as you would have thought, but they contain fresh water that has been isolated away for more than 10 million years. The scientists drilled down through the ice and reached the biggest of the lakes, and this is said to have taken them 10 years. An elevator has now been installed in the hole, and it took a team of 8 underneath the ice of Antarctica and revealed the lakes that were hidden. Scientists from Russia found a deadly creature called organism 46b. Russian scientists were in Antarctica and they had been baffled when they came across a created that they termed organism 46b. The creature is said to be extremely dangerous due to the fact that it paralyzes the prey it catches with venom and then tears it into pieces at leisure. The creature has proven theories that there are monsters lurking underneath the ocean and ice. When the Russian scientists were researching the region, they came across the frightening creature which they called organism 46b. The scientists said that the creature is a lot like a big octopus and it has 14 arms. The creature is able to paralyze people thanks to it having strong venom, and it can do this at more than 150 feet away. It has been reported that one of the members of the crew from Russia had been killed by the creature. Scientists took the creature to study it, and they say that it seems to be a cross between the mimic octopus, which is found in the Indo-Pacific, and organism 46b. The creature is said to have the camouflage powers of the octopus, but it can take mimicry even further. One crew member said that they saw the creature change its form to that of a human diver, and with this ability, there is no wonder that it has been kept a secret. The witness to this was said to have been killed by the creature as it fooled him into thinking that it was just one of the crew members. This led to the crew capturing the creature and putting it into a tank. They used a woman who had incredible abilities and techniques for defending herself. The Russian scientists said that they took the creature so that they could look into the capabilities of it along with the venom. At the moment, what else might be hiding away underneath the ice in Antarctica is still a secret. Please share this video, your friends might be interested.
Antarctica accidentally released this monster. On February 13th, this Google Earth image capturing what looked like a giant spider was posted online by a user named Sonophantom. The user went on to describe how his father experienced strange things while stationed as a medical doctor at the McMurdo base. As the only doctor on site, the user's father was said to double up as a pathologist and often receive bodies that seemed like they were attacked by something very large, but strangely enough, was always told to report the cause of death as hypothermia. As the user's father started digging into things, he realized his access was slowly being revoked, and soon his superior told him that he was going to be discharged shortly. However, after the base heard about what happened to the user's father, a troubled soldier he had been treating recounted how he and his team were attacked by spiders the size of greyhounds while defending a research base, and that his entire team was taken out, with him being the only survivor. Even though you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below, many people are wondering if
Antarctica's Mystery Mountain. It was the early 1900s when a team of expeditioners flew to Antarctica to test new drilling equipment. There was a professor on board with previous experience, a couple scientists, and drill experts. Their goal was to test this new technology. They were going to drill and take samples. As they flew into their destination, one of the expeditionists noticed something. Guys, look. They all look over and they see a large cavern in the mountain. He takes note of it and they continue to camp. They drill for a couple days and notice odd triangle shapes showing up in their core samples. They looked like imprints, but they weren't sure. They just wrote it off as an anomaly within the ice. So after a couple days of drilling, the scientist that spotted the large cavern in the mountain decided he wanted to take a couple team members to investigate. Much to the professor's discontent, they take off. But as they're flying in, the plane crashes. Everybody survives and they make camp. That night, they go to investigate the structure and find something odd. There were 8 creatures frozen in the ice with triangle-shaped feet and bones scattered about too.
I have been told by a man who worked for the Defense Intelligence Agency for 23 years that the National Science Foundation of the United States has scientists that are meeting and collaborating with extraterrestrials in Antarctica in this deep underground installation, something that one of the military people said to me. The walls had hieroglyphs, but the walls did not join with the ceiling. He said, we can only conclude that we are dealing with technology that is neutralizing gravity. Advanced beings could deliberately have isolated Antarctica under deep ice and snow like a partition from the rest of the world as a terraforming strategy to cohabit on Earth while ensuring that the alien base at the South Pole would be hidden.
Number of things, but you really only have to remember two words: governments lie. Very important to remember. Governments lie. I mean, not just the American government. Governments in general lie. Now, when I say all governments lie, that may sound like an anarchist statement. The anarchist.
Facts about Antarctica. U.S. actually didn't begin exploring Antarctica until 1840, with Captain Robert Falcon Scott leading the expedition. Then in 1928, Admiral Richard Byrd started his expedition with 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 23 aircrafts. Being the largest naval expedition ever in Antarctica, the objective was to do photo mapping, but as the pilot Conrad Guschen said, we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't know about precision flying or what we were looking at. 3 men died in what's called the Phantom Coast. Survivors of the plane crash were asked to walk 10 miles to shore in order to be rescued.